Hello everyone, welcome to the pre-match build-up for the game against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. And yet again, we travel with another squad that's just full of random people at this point, just dragging them off Salford fucking precinct, I don't know. Subs bench looking mental, but the starting 11 that we have today, that you should be able to see on your screen in a moment, Andre Onana, Diego Dalot at right back, Casemiro and Evans starting in the back line as a centre-back pairing. Wan-Bissaka at left back. You've got Mainu, Eriksson, and Mason Mount in the midfield, and then you have Antoinette, Højlund, and Garnacho as your front three. And as I said, the sub bench before: Pioneer, Heaton, Amas, Jackson, Ogiene, Ahmad, Amrabat, Collier, and Wheatley. It's quite literally like Sam mentioned off camera, a pre-season bench. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on the team, how you feel going into this one. Just to give a quick take on my side, I'm worried about this game. I eyed this game up about, I want to say 2-3 weeks ago, when Glasner or Glazner, however you say his name, first came in, and I was like, they're going to murder us. If we play how we play, like we have been doing against Burnley, like we've done against Sheffield and all these other teams, Palace will absolutely murder. If they're able to isolate us, and I think their coaches quite astute when it comes to tactics. If they're able to isolate us in the pockets 1v1, I mean, Eze and Elise are going to absolutely kill us. And I also think Mateta coming up against Casemiro and Johnny Evans is just, yeah, I'm worried. Absolutely, I have to be completely open and honest about this game. I'm absolutely worried, Sam. How do you feel about that team and the game?
Well, Canva has been an absolute arse, so I can't put it on the screen. I'm just waiting for it. It's just not downloading at all.
Right,
but
okay.
I've put it on the ticker. I've put it on the ticker for now, so
yeah,
we'll
get it up on
that. Yeah, I said it was a pre-season squad. It looked like with the amount of youth that we've got on there and the amount of players where you're like, do they start? Like, and they're playing out of position and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, this might be a bit messy if we're being honest. I think Elise and Eze are probably licking their lips going, right, lads, a couple of goals here for us tonight, I think. I think they'll be very happy with that lineup.
Not to mention as well, Sam, Palace are I don't think it's get mentioned enough, but Palace are a bogey team for us.
Oh yeah.
Like we've been there a couple of times, we've got 0-0 draws. And under Ollie sometimes we struggled. Under Ten Hag last season, I think Casemiro got sent off, didn't he?
Yeah.
In with the whole yellow card with Will Hughes and stuff. We had a couple of tricky games against him. And honestly, right now, this isn't just to be negative or sensationalist or whatever you want to call it. I think Palace are the favourites in this game.
No, I'd agree.
I don't know. Would you agree?
I definitely agree. Look at their squad, like player for player, and look at how they've performed since this manager's come in. They've only been on the uptick. Like they've only got better, and they've got players who are in form and playing well. You look at our team, we're on the downturn, playing awful. None of our players are in form, I would say. We've got injuries all over the place, and people who you would want in the team and would put in a performance are not available. Leacher, Bruno, Shaw, etc. They're not available. They can't come into the team. So it's like, this is what we're working with, and it's an inexperienced lineup. What number are we on like fucking defensive combinations at this point?
Yeah, it's got to be up there, isn't it? Evans and Casemiro.
Like, they're just taking the piss.
That's a slow back line.
Just taking the piss. And I hope that Ten Hag has realised this, that he's got Johnny Evans and Casemiro as his centre-backs. I hope he's realised this and changed something. Please change something, because if you've not, this is going to be a long night for us. A very long night.
I'm dreading this game. Just another one out there, the obvious story. Bruno Fernandes misses a match through injury for the first time in his 4-year United career. So when you talk about the injury curse, this is a guy who never fucking injured, plays through broken hands and all that kind of shit. God knows what's up with him. He must have the fucking plague or something if he's missing this game. But
must have chopped a limb off or something.
It must be something, because he plays through everything. Even Ten Hag referenced it in the embargo section last night. He said about, he played against Brighton, and you want to see his ankle. It was like a balloon. So no Bruno Fernandes tonight, which does leave space for Mason Mount. We've kind of been calling for this for a while to see him actually start. His last start, I believe, was against Newcastle in the Cup, which is a long, long time ago. What are you expecting from him, or what do you want to see from him personally today?
Just something. Like we've been. I know you're a big fan of him. I think to be kind, I'd say the jury's out on him as a player. Like he was player of the year at Chelsea, but obviously I don't watch Chelsea week in, week out, so I have to take their word for it. When he plays for England, I don't see what he offers. Like, I really don't. But Gareth Southgate absolutely loves him. And then Ten Hag made it a priority. It was our first buy, wasn't it, this summer? Was that a priority?
Yeah.
So clearly
Correct.
Ten Hag was like, this is the guy I'm going to think. And then since then, he's just been injured consistently. So we haven't seen him, what he can offer, what he was brought in for, what the tactical process is behind it. Now he's finally... I don't even know. I think if Bruno would have been fit, I don't think Mount starts. I think he's on the bench, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
So he has to make a claim now as like a stake. Just be like, I brought him to this team, show what he's got. He probably isn't 100%. He probably isn't absolutely tip-top condition, but he has to provide something. Assist, a goal, just do something, because we are struggling right now.
Yeah. That's the main positive I've got, in not the fact that we're struggling, but to watch him for a full 90 minutes. I think that's the only thing. Ahmad would have been nice to see him start, but we know the situation. Yeah, it's never happening with that. Just very quickly as well, I'm going to swap my camera over because my battery's going to die. So before it thing is, wow, that lighting is harsh. Just take that down a little bit. But I'd rather do it now than it go off and
makes you look whiter than you actually are.
Yeah, I am like Cravendale milk white. Yeah. So let me just talk to us about Eriksen as well, Sam, because as good as he is on the ball, he has major deficiencies, doesn't he? Physically, and I think Palace's midfield will be up for that, won't they?
Yeah, I'm hoping that he's playing in the 10. I'm hoping he's being pushed up so he doesn't have to do any defensive responsibility and have to get involved in that midfield battle. He can just be up there, receiving the ball from Mount and Cobby, and then playing it into the likes of Rasmus Højlund, the likes of Garnacho, the likes of Anthony, and just being that set piece specialist, that playmaker, and not have to do any of that dog work, which I think Cobby and Mount will have to do, because I think Mount is kind of like that and Cobby's definitely like that. So I'm hoping them two together can sort of marshal that midfield, and Eriksen doesn't have to worry about that. But knowing Ten Hag, he's probably put Eriksen in the 6 again, which, as we know, is just asking for disaster, isn't it?
Yeah, I always hate that when I see it in the game. When we're asking him to make certain substitutions, and he'll take the players off that we don't want him to take off, leave Eriksen there in the 6, and he's one of the worst players I've ever seen in that position. But he obviously wants it a certain way. I have a feeling the game's going to have a similar pattern in terms of like we were discussing off camera as well. It's going to be first 45 minutes. It's going to be Johnny Evans picks up an injury. Palace will probably get an early goal.
Yeah.
We'll go into the second half. We'll probably fight back a little bit, scrape a goal somehow, and then Palace will ultimately win it 2-1 or 3-1 with some stupid fucking chances conceded towards the end. And that plays into the narrative, Sam. Again, I'm not sure if you can put it up on the screen if possible. It's in the WhatsApp. So Sky Sports put something up before, which I thought was interesting, and it was like defensive records in 2024, and United are quite literally at the bare bottom of it, behind every single team, and we're lower for 2 massive defensive metrics than the worst defensive team in the history of the Premier League. So it goes to show how bad we've been this season, and them stats that you can see hopefully in a minute are just shocking, aren't they, Sam?
Yeah, like when you look at a graph, you never want to be at the bottom, ever. Like, there's never a point on a graph where you're like, oh yeah, it's good to be in the bottom of it. No, it's not. You want to be to the right and at the top, and we are to the left and at the bottom. Like, there's not like the only teams near us, Sheffield United, Burnley, who are both relegation and probably relegated at this point, Luton, who are almost, and West Ham, who have just absolutely collapsed in the last couple of weeks and getting smacked up every week. So yeah, we are up shit's creek without a paddle. We are conceding a record number of shots. Our expected goals are just ridiculous. We can't keep a clean sheet to save our lives, and our forwards are wasting chances so many times, like so many wasted chances. There's a couple of games where we should have been out of sight, but for wasted chances with Rasmus, Garnacho, Anthony, Bruno at times, Rashford especially. Like, it's just ridiculous. And we're in that mode where Liverpool were just outscoring teams, but they were conceding like 3 or 4. We're that, but we're not scoring enough.
Yeah.
We ain't scoring enough. It's ridiculous.
Dino Lewis says praying for a win, hopeful for a win, expecting a loss. To be honest, with all the injuries we have. Tim99 says a sneaky draw. Be interesting to see our midfield will keep the ball. Mainu, Mount Eriksson could be a good move. Yeah, I think that's the most fascinating thing about this game, to be honest, the dynamic of that midfield and how that's going to kind of play out. I think it'll be a lot more structured without Bruno, but we'll also miss a lot of things with him. Kirk Howcroft says we'll be lucky if we get a draw. That's the mindset we're in, I think.
I agree.
Yeah. Alexander Cortals says Casemiro's the captain. Yeah, I think he has been a couple times before, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure he's wore it once or twice, from my recollection. But it's one of them. Bruno hardly misses a game, doesn't he? Like we mentioned, first game in fucking 4 years. The question is, how many players will be there left at the end of the season? This is the Bruno first injuries for the club. What I find interesting is, Sam, now I'm not doubting that people are injured and they've got like genuine problems or whatever, but does it not feel similar to like, do you know the end of Ollie and Ragnick's season where players just suddenly became unavailable and they was claiming certain injuries? Does it not feel like that a little bit?
It's possible. It's definitely possible. I think there's a couple of things going on. Obviously, the system Ten Hag plays requires a shit ton of running, like an absolute shit ton of running. Everybody has got to get up and down that pitch and is covering God knows how many kilometers, like ridiculous amount of running, because that's the style he's playing, which leads to the openness that we are currently receiving because everybody's bombing forward, leaving space in behind, and they're not necessarily quick enough or fit enough to get back and be that marauding team that he wants us to be. He's not got the players for it, and it's being exposed in the terms of the amount of, like, think about how many muscle injuries have we had this season. Like, it's ridiculous at this point. Like,
you have to question the training almost at that point.
The training, the demands in the game and stuff like that. Like, it's clearly taken its toll. Somebody, I can't remember who it was on Twitter, but somebody mentioned is that Ten Hag is trying to weed out who in his players that he's going to be able to rely on for this season in terms of like who can keep up with the demands and stuff like that. And I understand that theory, but at this point, it's none of them. Because everybody's had... Even Bruno's fucked. Bruno is normally absolutely reliable. He's fucked. Completely fucked. And I don't know any... Like, Garnacho aside, maybe?
I think Garnacho's...
Is he the only one?
Garnacho's the only one, I think.
Everybody else is...
The keeper, but then the keeper's like... Even he missed games due to AFCON as well, didn't it, to be fair?
But like,
so someone's been missing at some point.
The keeper's not expected to run kilometres. Like, but everybody else, it's getting beyond... Like, and all of us were praising him last year when the Brentford game, and he made them run, was it 30 odd kilometres? I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't do that now.
If he did that now, I think half the team would just kill themselves at this point. So there's something going on, and I think there's two things that need to happen. Either the massive clear out of the rumours that we're hearing with Ineos is actually going to happen, and 10, 11 players go out the door and 10, 11 come in, or maybe 8 come in and youth fill the other gaps, or Ten Hag needs to change his tactics. Because this is killing players. Like, players are just falling off completely. So yeah, it's worrying, man. Really, really worrying.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I feel like at the moment the only way he feels like he can get results, and I was discussing this earlier on in the afternoon show, is that, you know, we had that period during, I think it was November, December, didn't we, where we scored no goals and Højlund received like 5 passes, I think, in 5 games. So he just kind of flipped it on its head, and he was like, rather than go pragmatic and boring, like, because the United fans were moaning about Van Gaal when he did it, and Mourinho when they're trying to get results, he's gone almost the opposite way, hasn't he? And just gung-ho, fucking, let's see what happens and see what fucking result. It's quite literally like a raffle. You just really do not know what you're going to get. And I think he thinks the best way of getting results is this kind of Nate Diaz style where it's just a street fight, innit? That's the best way to describe United. Sometimes it may work, but other times you'll get losses when you're not expecting it.
It's the UFC equivalent of standing in the middle of the cage and just chucking hands in it. Yeah. Just fucking whoever drops first, that's the end of the result. And we've been dropped more times than fucking Diego Sanchez at this point.
Yeah,
it's just we are a battered, concussed fighter, and we're still trying to fight our way. And things.
Swinging.
And we should have just retired at this point, or changed our style, or changed the tactic. And Ten Hag isn't going to do it. Like, we were expecting it after half a season. We expected it 3 quarters into the season. There's now 3-4 games left, and he still hasn't done it. So, which tells me he isn't ever going to do it. And this is the style.
Who's that? The guy who Sean O'Malley fought with the green hair. Do you remember that fight? And he was just getting punched in the face for 5 rounds straight. Tough kid, super tough kid. Some people know what I'm referencing. That's what it feels like. Like we're still in there just, but if anything, I think if we lose this game, I think we're probably struggling to get Conference League because the fixtures that we have after it, they're so tough. Like Palace, Newcastle, Arsenal, Brighton are all tough games at the moment. And you just don't know who's going to be available for them either. So I'm worried, man, about these next 4 or 5 games. I think it's going to finish, and we're going to finish in a worse position than we did under Ragnick.
Yeah, well, David Moyes got sacked for finishing 7th, didn't he? Like being in the 7th position. So
I'm going to look at the table now. Sorry, go on.
It's worrying, man. Like I don't. The summer is going to say everything, isn't it? Like whatever Ineos decide to do, that's the summer is going to dictate how we go forward. If they stick with Ten Hag, they're going to have to make major investments in the squad because clearly this squad isn't up to it. If they sack him, it's just going to be another reset and another restart, and we're just going to have to, again, be patient, and it's going to take 2-3 years because if you get another manager in, it's going to be another year of him getting his players, embedding his style, changing things. Second season, establishing it, getting back up and squad depth, etc. And we might be in the same position calling for the manager's head in 2 years, and I just don't want to do that. I'd rather give Ten Hag the opportunity if they're going to back him, but this season, is essentially a write-off, and next season I wouldn't expect major improvements, but we have to expect some sort of improvement or some sort of evidence of style of play and evidence of progression, because this season we have regressed massively, absolutely.
Yeah. So we are currently 8th in the league on 54 points. Chelsea, Newcastle and Spurs are all in front of us. And while Man United's worst Premier League finish is 7th, they actually accumulated their worst points total in 21-22 when they amassed just 58 points, but still managed to finish 6th. Sorry. We're on 54. So we need a win and a draw just to match that out of the next 4 or 5 games, whatever it is. So you can kind of see the way it's going. It's a difficult one. A lot of people are kind of using the FA Cup as the milestone or like something to look forward to. But is it something to look forward to? Are you even
No.
I have no faith in us whatsoever winning that game.
It's like 99% we're losing it and 1% we could win it, because there's always a chance you can win it. There's always a puncher's chance. Like City could just absolutely shit the bed, or Onana has the game of his life and the goals just can't go in, and then we get a penalty. And Bruno might be available and he's a good penalty, and then we just get away with it. That theoretically could happen. But in reality, it's probably going to be City are going to dominate, score a couple of goals, and that's going to be that. And it's going to be a good night, senorita, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just going to go to the comments. Dino saying, I think with the Euros this summer, some players avoid bigger injuries to niggles. They have as well. Well, Maguire's touch and go, isn't he? Obviously, he's injured for tonight, not available whatsoever. Going to be out for a couple of weeks. May just make it for the FA Cup final. And may just make it for the Euros.
He was playing injured already, though, wasn't he? Like, he got an injury, and he was playing injured for 3 weeks. So at some point, he was going to suffer something where it was going to take him out, but he was just playing until it did, and now it's happened where he's out. And that's the point, because we didn't have any other fit centre-back, so he had to play.
Crazy. Hani Ascari says, your opinion on playing Ahmad as a number 10 instead of Mount? One, we both know, me and Sam said at the start, it's just never going to happen. He's just not going to get a start. He never ever does. And two, I just want him to get on the pitch. I'm not asked where he plays. I'm not asked if he plays on the left or the right or a 10 or as a false 9. I just want him to get minutes because I think he deserves it. But I'm way past that in a minute. I think he's going to go in the summer, most likely.
When I went to the Burnley game, he came on. He did play in the 9. And I was just like, my girlfriend was like, why are they playing Ahmad there? I was like, just be glad he's got on the pitch, because fuck me, otherwise he wouldn't have got on. It's just ridiculous at this point. But I will, if Ten Hag stays, he'll probably go, Ahmad, because I can't imagine why he'd want to stick around if he's just not going to get game time. Like he could start for a lot of teams and be great for them. So I don't know why he would stick around.
Yeah. Evening Red Devils TV, nice to see you in the chat. Please do smash a like on the video, by the way, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. The last time I checked, I mean, I can't even.
4974, but on
4974. So we're 26 off 5,000. Please do hit that sub button if you haven't already. I had my worst injury during my footballing days in training, Charlie. I played for over 11 years as well. Never hurt myself really during a match. To be fair, I take your point about the Premier League and the intensity that Ten Hag's pushing them at the minute. I don't know if that's kind of a test, like to see, like you mentioned.
Yeah, the amount of games as well that they play. Like you got Europa competition, Carabao, FA Cup. You got
it's mad.
International
friendlies
in the middle
as
of
well.
it. And then none of these players, most of these players aren't going to get a break this summer either because they're all going to the Euros. So essentially they'll have no holiday, no break. So they're going to go into the Euros and then come straight back to United pre-season, and we're probably booked a stupid pre-season tour where we're travelling all about the fucking place, playing a ridiculous amount of games. So it's never ending, man. It just never stops. So the demand is going to get bigger and bigger, and I just think... Yeah, maybe Ten Hag's trying to weed out who can handle the demand, but in a minute, nobody can.
No. There's a quote coming out from Ten Hag, actually, just speaking before the game. He said, "It's important, the return of Johnny Evans, because we are short of centrals. We're happy with his availability. It was not the plan to start him, but he must start now. He's experienced. He can help the youngsters. I'm sure he'll be up to the task, but the question is for how long? How long will he be up to the task for?" Since joining Man United, Bruno Fernandes has only missed 13 games, 4 suspension, 3 rested, 1 as an unused sub, and 1 illness. First game missed an injury. That is mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad. I think when we reflect upon this season, Sam, after the dust has settled, and that it's going to be one of them where everyone references it as the fucking injury-cursed season, won't they?
Yeah. No, it's 60 plus injuries, 40 odd
abysmal,
plus
man.
Centre-back pairings, how many defensive pairings. I don't think we've had a set midfield for a while either. Like it was Casemiro, Kobe, Bruno for a while. I think that was the longest thing. But then since then we've had McTominay in there. Eriksen's come back in. Amrabat even played there for a couple. So he's not had an 11 where he's been like, this is my 11. Like I think Wolves first game of the season, that was the only one, and then basically everybody looked like shit anyway in that first game. So yeah.
Oh god. I'm gonna read out some more comments. 3-0 to Crystal Palace, says Sharinda.
Fucking hell.
Super Injury FC. Lol Bujon says 9-6. I don't know if that's a scoreline, but that's like, would you be surprised? Probably not. What are your thoughts on Sky Sports? I'm going to say tugging off Big Ange. 60 points in his first season. Ten Hag had 66 points, 1 Carabao Cup, whilst competing in Europe and reaching the FA Cup final. Look, when it comes to media and narratives around managers, we all know the script with that one. Like, United manager gets way more scrutiny. I even remember Poch, when he was going through that like struggled kind of patch, and they're still talking about Ten Hag way more. It was like they've spent fucking £1 billion under Todd Bowley. That it wasn't getting spoken about nowhere near enough, in my opinion at least.
The media knows that United equals clicks because we're the biggest club in the world. So if we're failing or we're looking bad, it does them much more viewer numbers than anybody else to focus on United, because if they talk about Liverpool, they talk about Chelsea, everybody's like, who gives a shit? Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit. Like, let's look at Klopp. Everyone's this fairy tale farewell and stuff like that, and they're having a bus parade for a Carabao Cup that they called the Tin Cup when we won it, and he's out of every competition that he's got involved in. They're all saying quadruple and all that sort of stuff, and they've got a documentary made and nobody wants to buy it because it's fucking useless and nobody will watch it. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's different levels and different things. And they know, like, we looked at Leacher coming in. What did he do for the first couple of months with Leacher? Just criticised him. Just criticism after criticism. Casemiro the same. Criticise his price, criticise his age. Both proved everybody wrong. Yeah. They're fantastic seasons.
Now, if he said that about Casemiro now, then it's like, well, because his legs are falling off. But he was one of our best players last season.
But it's just... Any little thing that happens to United where it's not absolutely fantastic, the media loves it. TalkSport loves it. Sky Sports loves it. They love talking about us. Absolutely
impressions, clicks. They know it. They know it. Just United's name's the biggest thing they can use. And and that gets the most emotional reaction as well. I think they kind of tap into that. Shrindy saying, "I want a job as easy as Man United's medical staff, easy money, nothing to do anyway." I think Ineos is certainly going to have a revamp of that, along with a load of other people in the summer. Set pieces, head the ball down tonight. We need to bulk up the fence and hit the set pieces. Again, that's kind of pissing in the wind, and it was set pieces with United. We know. I mean, when was the last time scored a set piece? Was it Hoyland's goal?
We had a corner.
Oh no, Maguire scored, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, I forgot about that. Who was that against? Maguire scored an header, I remember.
Can't remember.
Was it Burnley?
Might have been Burnley.
Might have been Burnley, yeah. Anyway, just taking it back to tonight's game, Sam, what would you be satisfied with given the situation that we're in at the minute, the players that are on the pitch? What's the maximum you think you can get out of this?
You just got, like, a draw's the sort of best thing you can help for, innit, really? Like,
should that team be winning at Palace?
We should be challenging. We should definitely be putting a shift in and being able to push them. If we roll over and they just absolutely mop the floor with us, there's something wrong with their mentality, like the players' mentality. Because Mason Mount, Premier League proven player, won the Champions League, Player of the Year. Casemiro, World Cup, not World Cup winner, didn't win the World Cup, did he? Champions League winner, La Liga winner. Johnny Evans, been around the block, played for United, Leicester, whoever. Andre Onana.
I'm still Johnny from the block. Yeah. Used to have a little, now I have a lot.
Andre Onana, experienced goalkeeper. Diego Dallo, Wan-Bissaka, Premier League player. Like, everybody in that team, aside from, I'd say Kobbie Mainoo, because he's for his debut season, his first, like, in the first team and stuff. Everybody else has been there, done it, and played in big games with big teams. So you should not be showing up to this game. Like, you should be showing up to this game. And if they don't, the mentality is shit, because they've got the capability to do so. But if you don't, then it's your mentality. It's not that Crystal Palace aren't Man City with absolute stunning world-class players where they'll just mop the floor with you no matter what. Like, this is a team that's probably our level, if not maybe a little bit above. But, yeah, we should be showing up, absolutely. But will we? I don't know.
It's like Red Devils TV says there, based off the last 4 games, Palace have 10 points from 12. It'll be a great way to see Elise in action. I mean, yeah, from that side of things, if Elise wants to impress United, if he's kind of twerking for a signing, then you got your perfect stage to do it against Man United.
Why would he want to come here?
Yeah, it's a good question. Money's also a factor as well that you have to consider, because I think his wages at Palace are not going to be mega, and at the end of the day, it still is a job technically. So if you're offered a significant rise, you could get to play European football. I don't know what capacity that's going to be in, but it could be Conference League. But even still,
unless he's a United fan, which I don't think he is, because I think I would have seen it by now. Yeah. I don't see why he would come here. I really don't.
No, I get it. I understand it. I do think we just slid past that Johnny Evans. That should be a new tune in the crowd, I think. Don't be fooled by the caps that I've got. I'm still Johnny from the block. And then we can kind of add to that as well. If anyone has any other bits they want to throw onto that tune, be my guest, but it's something to work with there. Just a couple of stats for you. Crystal Palace won 1-0 against Man United at Old Trafford earlier this campaign. They have never completed a league double over the Red Devils before, which that's lined up to be smashed out of the park, isn't it?
Do you know all those records that we've broke that are really fucking depressing?
Yeah.
Like, that's another one that's going to go tonight. That'll be another one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Man United won 8 of their first 11 away Premier League games against Crystal Palace, but are winless in their last 3. We've drew 2 and lost 1. So there's another
that is depressing.
Lovely stat. Yeah. Man United, get ready for this one. Man United have shipped 77 goals in 47 games, all competitions this season. Their most in a season since 1977. Their current ratio of conceding is 1.64 goals per game. It's their worst since the 1962 campaign. That's where we're at. And then just one more, just the last one for you. Mateta has scored in each of his 5 home Premier League appearances under Glasner, having only netted in 5 out of his first 37 home matches for Palace beforehand. The last player to score in his first 6 home appearances under one manager in the competition was Alan Shearer for Kevin Keegan in 96-97. So there are some lovely stats for you. Take them how you want. But he's another one who we've not even discussed yet. We've spoke about Eze and Elise. Mateta Sam is flying at the minute.
Yeah.
Physically, a monster. He's another one to worry about, isn't he, today?
Yeah, he's going to absolutely be loving the fact that he's got a 36-year-old Johnny Evans who's not fully fit, as Ten Hag has just said, to absolutely bully. And then Casemiro, who is not a centre-back and could probably toss this game off if he felt like it, because he's done it so far this season. So he's probably going, I could get both of these lads and just make their night absolutely miserable and just fucking think. And then all these people, like, I'm still getting people on our comments like blaming Onana for like certain goals and stuff. It's just like, he is a goalkeeper who's faced more shots than anybody in the league. Like, what do you want him to do? There's only so much this guy can do. Obviously, the mistakes that he's had, absolutely on him and his fault. But when he's facing this many shots, what do you want him to do? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if he's facing 30 shots a game, eventually one of them's going to go in. Yeah. So that's what he's up against. And Mateta will just be like, absolutely, I'll get a goal tonight, maybe two. He'll be loving it.
The one thing I can find that's slightly positive going into this as like a whole unit and as a team is the fact that we've had 9 days to prepare for this match. And Ten Hag's just been asked about this. He said we took a little bit of rest. It was necessary after 3 matches in 6 days, including one with extra time. The guys were tired, but they were able to recover and had some good training days. So I'm hoping to see a bit of a replenished squad, looking a bit more energised and up for it, because we have looked knackered, especially Garnacho, and he's looked fucked.
He's played,
in a lot of games.
He played like 33 games in a row, I think.
Yeah.
Which is just, for a 19-year-old, you shouldn't be playing that amount of games. Like,
you need to be careful, don't you?
Yeah. We did it to Elanga. Do you remember Elanga under Ollie and Ragnick? He was just absolutely getting, because he played a couple of good games. We were like, we just have to play him every game now. And he fell off the face of the earth. But now you see him with proper rotation and proper squad management at Forest. He's flying. Like, he's doing really, really well. And you're going to have that now with like these young players like Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho. You're going to play him into the fucking ground, because they shouldn't be playing the amount of games they're playing. Yes, Kobbie Mainoo is absolutely fantastic. Yes, Garnacho's absolutely fantastic. When you've got a proper squad and squad management, you should be playing them for 1-2 games, and then they should be coming out and give them a rest on the bench and stuff like that, and then play another couple of games. Like, that's how you need to manage them. That's how Fergie used to do it. He used to do it. Like, he was fantastic at it. No player got into the squad and just played 30-odd games. No, nobody. Not Keane, not Scholes, not Giggs, none of them, not even Beckham. They were all managed properly into the squad. And we're just like absolutely blitzing our young players. And I'm surprised Garnacho hasn't had an injury at this point. Yeah. I really am surprised.
Well, that would be, I think every player then would have had an injury. They want their outfield player at least in the squad almost, which would just be, that's got to be a record in itself. But yeah, I fully agree with that. You look at, history books will tell you, look at Wayne Rooney, Walcott, Wilshere, Michael Owens, another one as well, just to name like English talents who have just been run into the ground from early. And then they peak early as well in that sense. So we need to be careful with that. Just an interesting quote here from Eric Ten Hag on Mason Mount. He said, Mount's been back for a few weeks now. He's had a few starters and a few good weeks of training, so I think he's ready to play. He desperately wants to play. He'll bring energy, his qualities. I can't wait to see this environment. So the manager looks interested to see how he's going to shape up. That is my watch for today. I want to keep an eye on Elise. I want to keep an eye on Mount. There's nothing else that's sticking out to me, Sam, really, that I can grab hold of.
Tactically, it'd be interested to see where those midfield people play. Yeah. I'm hoping Eriksen's in the 10. If I see him in the 6, I'm going to lose my shit.
Oh, well,
I'm going to lose my shit. So
I mean, I'm sure there'll be kind of fluid rotation in there anyway, won't there? Between the two. I'll be pushing forward.
But I'm hoping we see Eriksen further up and Kobbie and whoever pushing up with Mount and stuff like that. But who knows at this point? Who fucking knows?
Yeah. Right, get your score predictions in the chat. Me and Sam are going to give ours very, very shortly. Dino Lewis says, I think the only way we're going to win this is by scoring 2 goals inside the first 20 minutes and hoping to hang on for the rest of the game.
Fucking hell.
What do we think, Sam? What are we saying? Are we sticking with... I can't remember what you said in the preview, actually.
Did I say 2-3-1 to... Crystal Palace? I think the streams crashed. I think YouTube's having a moment. We'll carry on. But we're at near the end now anyway, aren't we? So,
Okay.
Yeah, I'll stick with Crystal Palace 3-1. I think we just
Okay.
It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good.
All right, I'll go. Yeah, I think we both said the same, didn't we? Yeah, well, I'll go for that, and we'll leave it at that because it seems like the stream has crashed. So if you can't hear us, I do apologise about that. Go and watch the game, and make sure you come and join us after the game for the post-match analysis because it's going to be interesting, one way or another. Me and Sam will see you guys after it, hopefully, and let's hope we can fucking string a win from somewhere. Who knows? Cheers, guys.
Yeah, see you in a bit.